So I remember for me, it was like once I realized I wanted to do storyboarding, I would like look at the end credits of films and see the names of everyone on there. And sometimes I would look them up online and ask questions to them. And a lot of times they're all really nice, which is surprising. I don't think I've ever had like a negative experience doing that. It's either they won't answer or they'll give you advice for how to do it. But I think it's just like being strong in your commitment of what you want to do and just never giving up on it and constantly pushing yourself and challenging yourself in that field, whatever it may be.
You have to keep drawing. You have to keep drawing. The best advice that I have is not to look, it's great to look at films and to look at photography, to look at other artists, but for me, it's to look at life. I carry a sketchbook, I do quick sketching, I take notes. Sometimes you don't even have to draw. It's more about observing people, observing moments.
Remember all the bits that you've learned about shape, line, texture. Know how they work, and then do your best to forget about them by loosening up and doing a lot of quick drawings, a lot of fast drawings, and not being afraid to fail. You're going to get out your first ideas and your first gestures, and you may find something very spontaneous that you like a lot. And then you think, using those elements that you've learned about, how to frame that idea by using a triangle as a dynamic shape, or a square as a blocking element, or a pattern of lines as a directional device to lead your eye to that thing that you discovered because you were drawing fast. And you could go back and capture the charm of the thing that came right off the tip of your pencil.
Play with all these tools that you're learning about. Play with line, shape, color, but the name of the game is just to experiment and have fun. Play with compositions that don't work, but then learn from those mistakes. Think about, well, why don't they work? Why aren't they achieving what I want them to achieve? I think you have to forgive yourself and just allow yourself to make mistakes, and that's probably the best advice that I could give.
When I was given an assignment, it would usually be a table read first, where you'd get the script pages, and you'd read it together as with you, the director, the head of story, usually the writer as well. And you kind of just read it, you take notes, you ask questions, and then after that I would usually go back to my office and I'd kind of sit for a while with my eyes closed sometimes, and I would just visualize like, what does this scene look like to me? Which is basically me just as quickly as possible and as roughly as possible doing like these really quick and small drawings about what the progression of the scene is. So maybe it'll be a car there, and then this is a car there, and then moving into maybe a close-up of a car here. And I'll just do this until I go through the entire script, and then I'll have like a full page of all these little squares with like what they're saying underneath it and everything there. And then I'll look at it, and then I'll decide, is this what I pictured in my head? And then if it's not, I'll usually scrap it and I'll do it again, because it's like so quick and such an easy way to do it, because I'm not putting much effort or time into it. So I can see it as quick as possible and understand like where the mistakes are and how to like, sometimes it's like rearranging shots. So I might say, oh, I put this one here and I'll put this one over here at the front of it. And before I even move into the storyboarding process, it's like a plan before you move into the building of the scene.
I think that the best way to think about these tools that we're teaching you here today is to think of them just as that, as tools. They are the building blocks of visual storytelling that you have to know. This is like your meat and potatoes. You have to learn how to use these things by practicing and kind of repeating it over and over. But in the back of your head, keep in mind that you're trying to tell a story. So in a way, the best way to use tone or perspective is asking yourself, what am I trying to say? And that will help you in knowing which ones of these tools to use and how to use them best.
I remember during the internship, I was really shy, and we had to pitch like paper boards on a board with a stick in front of the whole group. And whenever I would go up to pitch, I would be really quiet, and I would like read the dialogue, and I wouldn't look at anyone in the eye. And I remember he was like, come on, Mike, you gotta be better than this. Like, what's wrong? Like, why can't you just like get up and pitch it? And I think he helped me to realize that when you're pitching and when you're in front of a crowd, they're not really paying attention to you. It's more about the work. So I remember before pitches, we would always just get amped where we'd go out in the hallway and then listen to like loud music and kind of like do jumping jacks or whatever it took, and then go into the room, and then they would ask like, who wants to go first? And then I'd be in the back and I'd raise my hand and he's like, yeah, Mike, go. And it was just like that kind of encouragement that really helped for later on in my career, and I still kind of do those things now before pitches. So it was always really helpful. Thanks, Bobby.